Today's program is brought to you by Fire Cider, a health tonic based on the traditional New England cure-all of raw apple cider vinegar and honey. For more information, visit firecider.com.
This is Sherry Bayer from All in the Industry. You're listening to Heritage Radio Network, broadcasting live from Bushwick, Brooklyn. If you like this program, visit heritageradionetwork.org for thousands more.
We talk about food. We talk about music with musical dudes. Finger on the pulse, snacky tunes.
And that was just a song from Guru, who are going to be coming up later in the show playing live. I am one half your host of Snacky Tunes, Darin Bresnitz, coming at you from sunny, we'll say sunny.
It's pretty sunny.
Gorgeous sunny LA in January. I got Jakob Layman, food photographer, cocktail photographer.
Yep.
Ex-Orthodox Jew, right?
Yeah, that's always in the bio.
That's always in the bio. I mean, that is a good talking point.
I feel like it's definitely formed kind of my like history with food a lot, and just, you know, I had this really limited experience as far as what I could eat for a chunk of my life, and then left that world, and all of a sudden I was, taking photos of all these restaurants in New York for Time Out New York, and now in LA, and it's like completely different. It's a whole new world.
How often does it come up? Are you ever out there taking food and photography and things like that, and you have a twinge of like the old kashrut laws?
Not really. Yeah, I
think you sort of got to just like, I mean, that's really, you got to put that away.
Yeah.
Like, what was this plate? What was on this plate before?
Right.
Was
yeah,
it milk? Was it meat?
I just had to do a clean break, and I think when I left that lifestyle, I kind of made a decision. I was like, I'm not gonna ease out of it. I'm just gonna, break it off, especially as far as kashrut and keeping kosher. And every now and then, I have friends who are still kosher, and be like, oh right, 2 sets of dishes,
right,
dishwasher sometimes.
I forgot about the 2 dishwashers. So let's dial it back. So you grew up where?
I grew up in Alabama.
Okay, Alabama, deep south.
Yep.
Mother cook, father cook, grandma cook.
Mom cooked. Was a really great cook.
Type of food?
Comfort food. It was
deep south Jewish people.
Yeah, kind of. So
there's pockets. I mean, I used to go to like sleepaway Jewish camp, and there was a couple of like Southern kids.
Right. Yeah. So there are big communities, especially in Atlanta. And Memphis. I grew up maybe like 30 miles south of Birmingham in the country. My mom is Jewish from Queens. My dad is not Jewish.
Doesn't matter. Mom's Jewish. That doesn't matter.
So I'm in. I'm good.
You're in.
Yeah. So we were raised Christian, knowing we were Jewish. I had 2 older brothers.
Sure.
And then later kind of picked up the Orthodox thread.
And is yeshiva, that's what got you north?
Yeah. I had started school in Birmingham.
Okay.
Then lived in Israel for a year. Was at a yeshiva there, and that kind of ignited the flame, as it were. And then went back to Alabama. I was like, I don't want to be here. Went to New York.
New York, that great beacon of like, I don't fit in. I'm going to New York.
Right.
For everyone in America.
Yeah.
And what year was this?
This was beginning of 2007 is when I moved to New York.
Okay, so this is like pre-Instagram, like food photography of like what it is now. I mean, there was food photography, but it wasn't, I'm going to become famous because I have my cell phone and I can take a photo of food.
Yeah.
So how did you get, I mean, were you always shooting? Did you always have were you like the high school, college kid that always had the camera?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
I had inherited a camera when I was younger and just really took to it. In high school, was on the newspaper as the photographer, and I think that was really formative for me. But then I never really thought I would do anything with it.
You're trying to tell stories through your photographs, things like that?
Yeah, but I was, just mostly playing around, learning things wherever I could, from whomever I could, and just always saw it ultimately as a hobby.
Isn't it awesome when your hobbies turn into your real life?
It really is.
So it's 2007. You're in New York. Do you remember your first food assignment? I
do actually. I didn't start shooting food actually until about 2011.
What were you doing those first 4 years?
I was at YU at yeshiva and was studying psychology with the plan of getting a doctorate and being a clinician.
Your background, I'm sure that if you laid your background out and you put 5 different profession choices and food photographer was one, I don't think anyone would pick it.
Yeah, the trajectory has been a little wonky.
So anyway,
fun.
You're studying psychology.
Yeah, studying psychology, and then I graduated. I was working in psychiatric research and applying to grad schools. I had applied to a bunch, and then just withdrew my applications. Like, I really don't want to go back to school right now. So I had about a year where I had left that job, was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Always thought I would go back to psychology and like clinical work. And in that time, just applied for a photo internship at Time Out New York to kind of, fill some of my days.
And was our favorite Jordana Rothman there?
She was.
Shout out to JR.
Yeah. Jordana was actually insanely supportive, especially of my food photography. And I'd never taken photos of food before I got there. And it one of the great things about that internship was we were shooting for the magazine as unpaid interns, which was huge. It was so beneficial.
I think it was mutually beneficial, probably.
Oh, no, totally. Yeah, I mean, there's yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if that's legal anymore.
You know, nobody's doing it, and the amazing thing about that internship was I was out of college. Like, I wasn't getting credit for it.
Oh, yeah.
But like, no doubt about it, I would not be where I am today had I not had that opportunity.
I mean, that like, doesn't happen anymore, insanely illegal stuff that, like, help people start their careers.
Yeah, it was the right time.
Right time, right place.
Yeah.
So what was the first assignment?
I think it was a Greek restaurant.
Okay.
Like the Upper East Side.
All right.
And you know, I just had no idea what I was doing. Went out. I think on one of my first shoots, I forgot to take a battery with me and had to go rent one from one of the camera shops in town.
Just take the cross down to B&H, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Luckily, the timeout office is just a few blocks.
I know. Yeah.
But yeah, so I just started, taking these photos and paying attention to what other photographers who were shooting the reviews for the magazine were doing, trying to learn from that and bring my photos up to the same level.
Was there a learning? I mean, did anyone notice that you didn't know what you were doing?
If they did, they were kind enough not to say anything.
It's like that moment in that comedy where it's super tense and you're sweating and they go, "Oh, these are great," and you're
right.
like, "Phew."
Yeah.
So you're shooting at the Greek restaurant, and I feel like everyone has this dream that you're the food photographer and you get to eat all this food. And especially as an intern, I'm sure you're like, "This is great. Like, I'm going to eat these amazing meals that I can't afford." Like, how much free food were you getting at the time?
It's a really funny thing because it comes up a lot. People are like, "Oh, you must eat amazing food all the time," and I definitely am fortunate enough to. But I can never tell when a place is going to offer and be like, "Here, you should have this."
What do they do with it?
Sometimes they'll just take it to the back, or
right.
occasionally, some people have started eating it while I was there, which I mean, it's I always try to go in never assuming that I'm going to get free food because that's not why I'm there.
No,
but I have been known to book a bunch of shoots in a day and then not eat lunch and be like, one of them is gonna feed me at some point, and then they don't, and I'm just hungry and cranky by the end of the day.
That's some sort of purgatory hell thing where it's just all right, 5 restaurants, I'm hungry, one of them's got to feed me.
Yeah, who's gonna do it? We got tacos, we got burgers coming up.
And so when you think back on your time in New York, what was the defining shoot as you were getting your start when you're like, this is what I'm doing? Where it goes, I want to shoot food. I want to make a career of it.
That's a really good question. I don't know if I had a defining shoot.
I'm sorry. I know I said no hard-hitting questions, but I think I just hit a little. We'll call that a medium.
We're going to talk about
We'll call that medium.
Air.
Yeah, we'll call it talking to off the air. Yeah.
And this has honestly been true for a lot of my life, and it's a disappointing answer, but I don't have a lot of kind of aha moments. There wasn't a moment where I was like, I'm going to become an Orthodox Jew and then start living that way, and there wasn't a moment where I had this revelatory experience as a food photographer. I think it became apparent after a while where I was like, this is something I enjoy doing. It's a really pleasant experience for me. I have an easier time shooting food than I do with people, for example. And, I'd like to explore this some more. And then at a certain point, I'd always been told you should definitely, as a photographer, find a niche and a speciality. Yeah. And I felt like I had gotten to a point where I had enough photos in my portfolio to call myself a food photographer.
There you go.
And
build
so
it
that
up.
was it, yeah.
Awesome. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about your move to LA and taking a chill on overhead shots of food. Because that's my go-to.
Yeah, I mean, it's mine. It's Instagram's go-to.
I know.
And the amazing thing is that they always look good. but everybody's doing it.
Everybody's got to do it. All right, this is a song from Slam Donahue. It's called I Turn On, live on Snacky Tunes.
It's gonna be loud.
Do your parents still have sex? I thought not. Do you want it like this? I hope not. I hope not. We're all afraid of red eyes in the woods with no reason why we should. Admit there are things we don't understand. Do your parents still have sex? I thought not. Do you want it like this? I hope not. I hope not. 'Cause people are just people. Awkward and alive. Yeah, I turn on my heels and hope slow dance is still real. Do your parents still have sex? I thought not. Do you want it like this? I hope not. I hope not. And if we're able to relate to their ways, understand what they say, get away. They're afraid of our gaze, though we're dressed up the same. We seek a similar fate, see such a similar face. Admit there are things you don't understand. Baby, ha ha. Ha ha.
We are here in LA. Jakob Layman, food photographer,
Ex-Orthodox.
ex-Orthodox Jew, ex-lover of Taco Bell, still lover of Taco Bell.
I haven't actually had it since before I became Orthodox.
It's
And
funny that you like cut being kosher and you're like, I still don't need to go back to Taco Bell.
Yeah, at this point, it's become this thing where like I have like a 10-year-long streak.
Oh yeah, you don't want to break it.
Do I? Yeah, but then
Here's the thing: it tastes exactly the same. It tastes literally like that's the magic of that.
right, but that's the thing is there are restaurants in LA that I love and there are dishes that I really adore, and I have gone back for the second or third time, and it's not always as great as that first time.
Taco Bell.
I know that Taco Bell is gonna be
Okay.
exactly as I remember it.
So Taco Bell tastes exactly the same, but I imagine with you becoming a food photographer, you're like, I don't want to say like snob, but like
totally
total snob. Okay,
yeah.
fine. Let's say snob, but like your taste has been elevated. So like what you remember from 10 years ago of like Taco Bell being great, I wonder if you went back and been like, what the fuck was I thinking?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. I don't wanna like, kick that bear. I'll just
No.
let it lie.
No. So you're shooting in LA. So you're shooting in New York.
Yeah.
You're going around. This is your career. And then, more and more people are shooting food in New York. Do you feel like it gets the waters get a little too crowded and you start looking LA, or like what made you jump from like the New York food scene, which is arguably like one of the most innovative food scenes in the world, but also the most competitive,
Right.
to bring you out to LA?
Yeah, I felt like when I was in New York, I never felt, I would say, fully established and I had made a lot of great contacts in the community there, but I wouldn't. My competition wasn't really against heavy hitters. But I ended up working at Time Out New York in the photo department, and they were looking to launch a Los Angeles website. So I had talked to them about, they were looking for a photo editor, and I was like, you know what, I'll do it.
I'll do it. Head west, right?
Yeah, I knew
Go west.
nothing about LA. And
Had you ever spent any time out here?
I came for like a week when I was in high school.
But you had known that the food scene had started to grow.
I didn't. I had no clue.
I'm sorry, and what year again was this?
This was the middle of 2012.
Okay, so there was enough animals around. Roy Choi was doing his thing. Yeah. I mean, it's not like it is now.
Right, and which I think I came at this crazy time where since I've come, it's just
right place, right time,
to
twice.
Explode. Yeah, I mean, you could probably track the food industry in LA through just like Grand Central Market.
Oh
like,
yeah,
its development since I moved here has been this explosion, and I feel like that's across the board.
And it's funny because now you have New Yorkers like Sarah Kramer there, who was a glasserie, now doing her falafel stand.
Yeah, I feel like New York LA is really on New York's radar now, and really the rest of the country.
100%. I think so too. I mean, as someone who just moved
yeah,
here.
Exactly.
But I think the two things that probably brought a lot of New Yorkers out here has been Uber, and the development of the food scene.
Yeah, and those two have played really nicely together.
So nicely together.
And then you later, and also just the cocktail scene, which
now you shoot cocktails as well.
I do, yeah.
And Alex Day is out here too, from Death & Co.
Right,
from Normandy. He's over in Normandy, right?
I think so. I'm not.
Don't kill me, Alex.
Sure. Yeah.
Don't kill me if I got that wrong. But I mean, I think Uber is a great example of it, where it's just like, I don't have to drive. I can live on the east side, go to a restaurant on the west side, completely imbibe, completely eat, have a great meal, and then just call an Uber home. Yeah,
it streamlines the whole process.
Now, do you find that you have become like a bigger fish in the LA scene because you were here like at this new, the last 3 or 4 years for the LA food scene have been explosive. And do you feel like you've been like the go-to photographer guy? I mean, you were at Gorilla this morning shooting.
Right, yeah. And so a lot of the work that I do, and another thing that has kind of helped me navigate the food scene is working for Time Out LA, because that is my excuse to visit, and that's how I've gotten to know the city so well, by just exploring all these amazing restaurants for stories. And through that, I felt like I have definitely developed more as a photographer, and kind of I have more rapport with chefs and bartenders, and also like the PR reps around town.
Oh yeah. Now, I can ask you to name favorites. You don't have to if you don't want. But like, so many restaurants, so many new restaurants. Like, what brings you back beyond just you go out, you shoot there. Maybe they feed you, maybe they don't.
Right. Yeah.
But like, what brings you back? Like, what's like, that says I'm going to go now spend my money there.
I think there are a lot of things that will bring me back. Definitely the food is going to always be the biggest. But coming in as I do, and as not a customer or consumer, but I'm still interacting with the staff. Like I am really drawn to places where there's just kind of a genial spirit. Like I think there's this subtle or growing trend of restaurants and bars just being known for like the staff being kind of cold or detached. And
I can think of one. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Off tape, I'll tell you the one that's coming to mind.
Cool. Yeah, I'll tell you the 3 or 4 that are on my mind. And it's just like, it's just not for me. Like, it's not the kind of experience that I think is really like helps, the dining out. But ultimately, it's really going to be the food that. Yeah.
I mean, good food, it's got to be awesome food to bring me back. And then you get to service and things like that.
But I'll like always, service will always be a talking point. Yeah. I think, and I notice that with a lot of people that I talk to, that they really appreciate good service. And it's not being pampered to. It's just being, being able to have a conversation and enjoy your time there.
I mean, I think I can understand an off night from a kitchen.
Yeah.
I can understand. But like bad service, I just can't. I have no leniency for that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk food tips of shooting photography, shooting food, things like that. Now, what do you look for when you're shooting a plate of food, cocktail? Are you going natural light? Like what, because people, I mean, I know that my lovely fiance has helped me shoot better food photographs. Because sometimes I try and move away from the top over down. Like I'll do like the side, and she's just like, no, it's got to be top. It's got to be a great layout. And I've seen with her help, like, my likes. I mean, if you're judging it by likes, it's like.
Right. I mean, we have an instant meter to know, if we're doing good or not.
Did this photo do well? Okay, yeah. And you're not really like A-Bing it on this. You're just picking one and going. But if you're saying everyone shoots over the top or things like that, like what are the tips for improving Instagram food photos or drinks photos?
Oh man, for Instagram, I wish I knew. I feel like
Fine.
that's a whole other piece.
That's just me asking. Ignore me. I'll ask you after. But what makes a good food photograph? Is it just natural light? Is it setting? Is it what are you looking for?
For me, I think it can really be a mix of things, and it's kind of knowing the dish and also playing for that dish in that restaurant.
Interesting.
I alternate between natural light and kind of a single light setup. I usually take a beauty dish with me that I use to shoot a lot of food. And
so you bring your own plates and everything?
No, so the beauty dish is like a light modifier. Shoots the flash into it, just kind of spreads it out real nice. So I'll go into a place and kind of check out the window situation. Usually that's a great place to set up to get the best light. I'm usually there when it's kind of off hours.
Of course.
So I can ask them, be like, can we turn the lights down and kind of manipulate things a little bit.
And do you prefer morning off hours or afternoon off hours? What type of light are you looking for help?
That for me, I doesn't affect me so much because there's so many different factors as far as where the window is facing and what time of day it is. So there's a lot of things that can kind of come into play. I feel like afternoon is usually a good time to come in because they're not rushing for the lunch hour, and there's a little bit of downtime before dinner. So the best time I find just to make everything go smooth is before after lunch, before it gets really busy again.
And how much time are they giving you to shoot? You're on the clock, right?
Yeah.
You're in and you're out. You're not.
Yeah, and I try to shoot. I try to streamline the process as much as possible, and I think I shoot fairly quickly for from what I'm told. I usually spend 30-45 minutes in a restaurant or a bar, and a lot of that will really depend on the kitchen.
And how many dishes? How many different plates are you getting out? Are you shooting?
Maybe 4 or 5.
That's good. That's about sort of what you need. And you go in, and the editors are just we need these 4 dishes, 5 dishes.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'll have a shot list, and that's for shooting reviews for the website, or if a restaurant hires me to come in and shoot for their own site or social media, then I'll have a little more time to kind of play around and try different options for them.
Wow.
And the top down is is always going to be one of them.
Top down's, but I think cocktails are a good example of how it can be beautiful, not top down, but you're working with a gorgeous glass full of beautiful liquid.
Right.
And also food is plated for you to look at it top down, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it
it's
totally
tough.
Is. Yeah.
It's tough. A cocktail you pick up and you look at it and you hold it in your hand and you're looking at it from the side. Food is you're sitting down and it's put in front of you. That's why it's going to be the best.
Right. And those photos I think are always really compelling shots, especially the crowded table. And,
when you fan it out
and you have the hands come in. I don't fully understand. I'm curious about the moment where, the person stands up and is like, all right, everybody hold on. Like, put your hand here, we're going to interrupt brunch for a second.
How often do you take photos when you're eating?
Oh my gosh, I hate it so much.
Do you not?
I do.
Because I feel like you got to have it up on, you got to have it in like, for like that positioning of like, I'm the LA food guy, like you got to have it in your social feeds and things like that.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I will definitely shoot photos when I'm at a restaurant, but I get really self-conscious because something about not being on assignment or not like doing it with a purpose. I'm lugging this camera around.
Oh, because you're not just shooting on your phone.
Usually not. I'm really bad with my phone. I like embarrassingly so.
So you shoot on the camera, send it to yourself, and like look at this magic.
Yeah. It's all. I mean, it's all.
That is not even fair.
Lie.
That's not fair.
I can't even tell you. I post photos to Instagram that I've taken at a restaurant like weeks ago, and
that's a good one not to get tracked though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no.
Just throw them off the trail.
All right, well, Jacob, thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
Website, Instagram, how do people find you?
Instagram is Meet Jacob. It's Jacob with a K. Website's jakoblayman.com.
And is it meet with an E or an A?
With an E.
Okay.
Yeah. Like,
I mean, there's a good pun in there.
Yeah.
All right, well, we got Guru coming up live. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you.
Next song is one of my favorites, Fletcher C. Johnson, Happy Birthday, live here on Snacky Tunes.
Welcome back. I'm one half your host, Greg Bresnitz. In studio today, really in studio today, we have Gurus. Welcome all 7 beautiful Gurus into Heritage.
The Gurus are here.
The Gurus are here. First and foremost, who are the Gurus?
Gurus, we are a band from Brooklyn. I'm Michael. Let's go around the room.
Yeah, let's take it around the room.
I'm Jonathan, play keyboard.
I'm Steve, I play saxophone.
Ben, play bass.
I'm Allison, I play bucket.
Brian, drum kit.
Destiny, bucket.
Did you go 7 years trained bucket player? Is that how it goes?
It's about how long it takes.
Yeah. Any tips for aspiring bucket players or early missteps? Okay. Well, anyway,
play hard.
Play hard.
Invest in good buckets.
Oh yeah, is there have you had like a bucket failure on stage?
But yeah, well, we found these all black buckets, and they've really changed our game.
What's like an epic bucket failure that you've encountered?
Completely falling off of a stand or cracking.
Or when they get stuck together permanently, something's down on them.
If you get different size buckets, they don't nest like Russian nesting dolls.
Oh, I got it.
And for transit, you want them to nest.
These are all valuable tips. I mean, you could be easily out like $10, $12 per bucket. What's a good bucket cost these days?
Well, there's a really good deal on Uline.
Let's put in a plug for Uline.
Yeah, Uline, man. It's about $5 for 5 buckets.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really, really good deal.
Yeah.
So for aspiring street percussionists and others who need spackle
Those
buckets,
with leaks.
There's like a real low barrier to entry into the bucket game.
that's part of the idea of Gurus and of street percussion in general and putting it on a stage.
Yeah, let's talk about the ideals behind Gurus because there are many. Let's take with like what the Gurus actually stands for.
So, Gurus on its own is us. We are a group of gurus, right? Bringers of light. But then Guru stands for the Gnostic urban reformation of unconditional surrender, which is the cult about which the Guru's album tells the story.
And we have a little bit of time, so we're going to get into this, but what is the cult of Gurus?
The cult, it's a collective. It's a group of individuals together in an urban setting, bringing light, enlightenment into the world and into our community.
And what type of enlightenment are you offering to future and current members?
We preach mindfulness, right? And we believe in community, togetherness. We believe in the ideals of street percussion, right? Of, like you said, it's a low barrier to entry.
Talk
right?
to me about the marriage of mindfulness and street percussion, and how do those two intersect?
Okay. A lot of what we do, it focuses on repetition, you know? So there's a trance-like quality to our music. And playing the street percussion, it's repetitive, right? We play the same beat and build around it, and build by subtraction and addition. And so it requires a certain amount of attention just to the task in front of you. It's not about elaborate composition. It's about building from small parts.
Let's hear a song. Let's get a good example of this. What are you going to play first?
We're going to play a song called Believers.
Okay.
feel it, you'll believe. When you 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 feel it, you'll believe.
Talk to me about unconditional surrender.
Okay. So, the idea of this is a lot of times we go through our life, we're trying to make decisions about the future, we're thinking about the past, we're caught up in a belief system that puts us at the center of the world, and puts our technology at the center of our universe, the way we connect to other people through technology, what other people are doing, right? Where we are in that nexus. Unconditional surrender is about letting go of all that. Unconditional surrender is about surrendering absolutely to the power of community, to the power of being together, making something together, and shedding some of the really destructive tendencies around, status and trying to achieve meaning in our world by how many likes we have on our Instagram feed, how many likes we get, and the status we get from things that are not rich with meaning, right?
I understand. Not gaining any sense of value from things that are intangible or not actual things.
That's right.
So how did Gurus grow into a 7-piece? Or how did you know that this was the right number for the band?
The number chose us. We started out with just a few people. I put these songs together, built them from layers of buckets and other pieces of street percussion, scraps of metal, building on top of that. And when it came time to really develop the songs, it took the number of people it took to make the sound. And so 7, it's been 6, it's been 8, we've settled at 7, and this feels good. This makes the sound we need to make.
And I know that right now we just have 4 buckets in the room, but what are some of the other percussion forms that you use in the show?
So we have a piece of metal from a car. We have some dishware that we've gotten at the dollar store. We have, as you see, the trash can lid. We've had that piece since a much older incarnation, an old band called Raheem. It's the same trash can lid.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I saw Raheem play when I first got here.
First got where?
To New York.
I remember, did you work on Current TV?
That was my brother.
That was your brother.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What was that venue on Rivington that doesn't exist anymore that you guys played at?
Rothko.
Yes. That's where I saw
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
That's amazing that it's traveled all the way through all the band incarnations. And it's a good sound. One more time. That's good.
As Phil Sutton, its original owner, said, it sounds better than a China.
Oh, okay. Let's let's hear another song.
This one's called Man and Beast.
So your first single out in January is the first song you played for us. How did that come into being, or what is the songwriting process? I know it starts with you, but how does everybody else get layered in to the final song?
The songs have come out a number of different ways. So I built a lot of them in a basic way, in a repetitive way, with loops, and then I've brought the other players in. You know, I'll bring Jonathan in to layer on textures with the synthesizer. I'll bring in Ben, or another bassist we've worked with, Chris, who wrote a lot of the pieces on the record. So it's a process of layering. Steve will put on some of the noise on the saxophone, or things he hears when he's listening back to it. So it starts from, like I said, kind of a repetitive basis, and then we build on top of that.
It's kind of amazing. I mean, it's almost instantly hypnotic, but the time, the length of the songs is, I mean, I feel like if you played that last one for 10 minutes, I would be like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Are you asking us to play that for 10 minutes?
I mean, I
don't know what kind of time we have here.
No, no, I'm just saying it seems like the way that it's like it does build on repetition and then edited down to like a really interesting way of like a drone.
Okay, we agree. We'll play it for 10
minutes. Yeah. This is where it changed. But I'm wondering in like the editing process, like something of conscious of time length, especially with the idea of like no distractions and no kind of like outside influence, how that crafts like the type of and the length of the music that you're making.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think a lot of these could go on and on. It's like you say, it has a sort of hypnotic or mystical quality, and the drone of it kind of brings something out the longer you listen to it. At the same time, you know, to give too much of that, like if you listen to certain George Harrison, or we're more Tomorrow Never Knows than late George Harrison.
Fair enough.
Right? It has to be something you can take with you. I think not to pander to a short attention span, but to make it something that you can use in your life.
Yeah, I don't mean in the pandering of a short attention span. I think it's actually what drew me to the music is that you can achieve that in such like you would just put the record on repeat as opposed to a song that like, you know, dictates the length of time.
Yeah, I like that idea.
So what's coming up next? The single's coming out and then the record?
Yeah, the single will come out in January, and we don't have a set date for the record, but we're going to do some shows around the single and take it from there.
What is like an ideal Gurus fan? We can say look like, and then appreciate, and then on their reading list. We can do it in any of those orders.
Wow, I think we have to call everybody in for that.
Yeah.
What do they look like?
Yeah, first one.
So they have wolf fur, wolf whiskers, a leopard pelt. Help me out here.
Reversible knees. Forearms, their knees are bent backwards.
Yeah, I like that, yeah.
Yeah.
To borrow
like
from
hooves. Yeah.
That's right, hooves, cloven hooves. They don't have to be goat hooves, but goat hooves are preferred.
Yeah.
To borrow from Destiny, it's a chimeric creature.
Okay. I can't remember what my second question is, but what do they read? Or I'll change it. What is like necessary reading before attending your first Guru show?
Unconditionalsurrender.org.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the manifesto website it's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's really well done.
Thank you. We spent good time on that.
Yeah, usually like one interview I was like I can usually like digest it in a short amount of time, and I really had to dive deep in there. I got kind of lost a little bit.
Good.
Yeah.
So did I when I was making that. So
yeah, I can
Steve.
imagine. It's nice to see that you came back from
a hole, yeah.
Yeah, came back from the edge. Yeah.
It's like the songs though. There are a few simple things there, but they bear repeating.
Yeah.
So unconditionalsurrender.org is required reading. We'll have a pamphlet coming out to accompany it. I'd recommend some Thomas Merton.
Okay.
For our listeners.
Anybody
That's
else?
what I'm reading now.
I'd say anything by Jeff Vandermeer.
Oh, amazing. I have to second that. That took me for like a weird 10 days last year.
Yeah, I just want to keep on reading it over and over again.
That's good. I want to make sure we have time for one more song, and you can let this one fuzz out if you so desire. But where can people find more information? Where can people join? Where can people know about the single release, etc.?
You can go to gurusmusic.com or unconditionalsurrender.org to learn about the music, Gurus, and the philosophy, Unconditional Surrender.
Okay. Well, big thanks to our guest today. Big shout out to Liz for sticking it out as well. Thanks, Liz. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah,
here.
thanks for coming on in here. This is and that the drum can
cram in.
No, this is great. I mean, it's always interesting to see how far we can push the studio. And shout out to the trash can lid from Raheem. Didn't think I'd see that again in my life, but there it is. And what's the name of the last song?
All Around.
Okay. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week.
Love is all around to be found if we sacrifice higher ground. Love is all around to be found if we sacrifice higher ground. Love is all around to be found if we sacrifice
Thanks for listening to this program on heritageradionetwork.org. You can find all of our archived programs on our website or as podcasts in the iTunes Store by searching Heritage Radio Network. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at heritage_radio. You can email us questions at any time at info@heritageradionetwork.org. Heritage Radio Network is a nonprofit organization. To donate and become a member, visit our website today. Thanks for listening.